All right, so tan of theta equals opposite over adjacent. If I have opposite over adjacent, already I just fill in what I know. So my theta is actually what?
70.
And what's my opposite? It's my height, right? My opposite is my height. It's across from it. And my adjacent is, where's my variable?
At the top.
In the numerator. Because my variable's in the numerator, what does that mean I need to do? Multiply. So in order to find the height, it's going to come down to 300 times the tan of 70. So I go to the calculator. Please excuse the matrices. Okay, 300 tan of 70, and I get 824 and 24 hundredths of a yard. We're going to practice rounding to the nearest hundred. And 24 hundredths of a yard. So this rocket is in the air about 8 football fields. So if you stack 8 football fields, if you could stack 8 football fields on top of one another, that's how high the rocket would be. Questions about this? Huh? It's okay? Okay? Main thing to remember is SOHCAHTOA. Sine, opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent, opposite over adjacent. If you do not remember those, you will not be successful on the quiz. Okay? Alright. As one that flies her kite, she uses all 42 feet of the string on the roll. So she lets her kite fully extend. If she lets her kite fully extend, the string makes a 50-degree angle with the horizontal. Okay? Neglecting Wanda's height, determine the kite's distance above the ground. Draw a diagram and solve. Well, the diagram's been driven for us. If it wants to know the height, which side of the triangle am I looking for?
Right.
So in this situation, which trig ratio will help me find the height? Why would, sorry?
Because you have the opposite and hypotenuse.
I have my opposite and my hypotenuse. So therefore, this is sine of theta equals opposite over hypotenuse. So the sine of 50 equals, what's my?
H over 42.
H over 42. Where's my variable? And the numerator, which means I have to do what to solve for. So the height equals
42 sine 50.
And all I can do to get an approximation is put it in the calculator.
32, 17.
Okay, so I get 32 and 1700. And it's, what's my measurement in?
Units.
Feet.
Oh, feet.
Any questions? Comments? Confusion? Okay. All right, on 3. A billiards ball lies on the pool table, 1 mark to the right and 2 marks below the left corner pocket. The ball is to be hit into the pocket. If the marks on the rails are evenly spaced, what angle would the path of the ball need to make with the left rail? So instead of using yards, inches, centimeters, or feet, I'm talking about marks. So how wide is this? How many marks is it?
2. It's 1.
It's 1 mark. How long is it?
2.
2 marks. So once I know what those marks are, and I'm looking for this angle, why would I put green on green? Does it make no sense? If I'm looking for this angle, what trig ratio would I use? I have my opposite and I have my adjacent. What is tangent? So I have tan of theta equals opposite over adjacent. which equals 1 over 2. What do you notice? Why do I have to use the inverse, Megan?
Because it's in a fraction.
Well, it's not just because it's in a fraction, but I'm looking for the angle. When you are looking for theta, you must use the inverse. Okay? When I'm looking for an angle, I have to use the inverse. I can't just use sine or tan or cosine. I have to use their inverses. So I'm going to go 1 divided by 2. And I get my angle is about 26.57. So 26 and 57 hundredths of a degree. (26 and 57 hundredths of a degree).
I didn't get the whole concept of this one because of the marks and stuff.
Okay. Just pretend like it's inches. If it says that each mark represents 1 inch, if this is 1 inch, how many inches is this? 2 inches. It's just how many marks are there. So it's saying if I have a triangle and they tell me that this is 1 inch and this is 2 inches and it wants to find this angle, it's, what do I have? I have my opposite and I have my adjacent. If I have opposite and adjacent, that means I'm using tangent. And the rule for tangent is opposite over adjacent. Plug in my opposite, plug in my adjacent. Because I'm looking for the angle, I'm going to do inverse. It doesn't matter that the marks are, that your measurements in marks. That's irrelevant. Well, it's relevant to a certain degree if you're playing pool, but for our sake. All right, what I want you to do is I want you to work 4 by yourself. I want you to draw your own picture, and I want you to actually solve B and C. All right, so what does your picture look like? Okay. So this is my wall. This is my ladder. And this is my distance from the wall. How do we do with the picture?
Good.
I drew it right, but I had labeled it wrong. Which was right.
Can you climb a ladder when it's flat against the wall?
That's what I was,
Can't. Okay, most ladders are slanted, right? Unless it's like, well, they're still slanted, even if it's the 2 together. All right, find the height. Well, I know 2 of my sides, so how do I find the height? Pythagorean theorem. So the wall will equal the square root of, which equals the square root of 128, right? All right. Just a tidbit, I know that we can put this in calculator and get a decimal. How many of you guys remember how to reduce radicals? How to reduce a radical? Do y'all remember factor trees as a reducing method? Like if I did 4 and 32, 2 and 2, 2 and 16, 2 and 8, 2 and 4, and then you pair them up. And what doesn't have a pair is left alone. So 2 times 2 is, 4 times 2 is, so 8, and what was left by itself? A little bit of 2 right there. That is how you reduce, well, simplify radicals. We will be doing this more in January, but I just wanted to see if anyone remembered.
I remember.
Yes, Dulce.
Would the decimal still be acceptable?
The decimal will still be 11.31?
Yes.
Yes. So the decimal is approximately 11 and 31 hundredths of a feet. But if a problem asks you for the exact value would be 8 and square root of 2 feet. Okay, I just wanted to throw that out there, but we will get back to this a little more in January. This is something that you should have left Algebra 1 knowing and definitely left Algebra 2 knowing. All right, what is the measure of the angle formed between the ladder and the wall? The angle between the ladder and the wall, which angle is that?
It's gonna be,
Stop one.
yeah, top.
Because this would have been the ladder and the ground, right?
Yep.
This is the ladder and the wall.
Opposite of adjacent.
Okay, not wrong, but not totally right. When you are trying to find any measurement, you should use the exact values you have given. Is the wall value we have an exact value? No. Unless we were using 8 square root of 2, then I'd be like, yeah, go for it. But that is not the value we're using. We're using an approximate value at 11 and 31/100ths, correct? So the only two exact values I have are 12 and 4. And what is their relationship? Opposite over hypotenuse. And what does that give me? Sine. So sine of theta equals opposite over hypotenuse. And when I plug that in, I have sine of theta equals 4 over 12. So theta equals the inverse of, and my approximate angle measure is 19 and 47 hundredths of a degree. Here? You found the angle?
No. I thought this is what he was asking, so I had this what I put it.
Oh, but do you see the difference now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, what matters is what information is given to you and what the problem is asking. If I had used tangent or if I had used cosine, as long as I used 8 square root of 2, it would have given me the exact same answer as I did here. But only if I used 8 square root of 2. Using the approximate value, it would have been off by a few decimal places. Yes?
The reason you use inverse is because you don't have that the wall.
No, you use inverse because you're looking for an angle. It says to find the angle. When you're looking for an angle, you use inverse. All right.
Would you still
Yes, ma'am.
saying the answer if you would do just like a squared plus b squared is c squared and plug in there like that
For which one?
for b?
That's all you have to do. You should have just used Pythagorean theorem. Okay, on your quiz, you need to make sure you remember Pythagorean theorem, the interior angle sum of a triangle, which is what? 180. And you also need to make sure you remember how to find perimeter of a triangle. How do you find perimeter? You add up all the sides, guys. Okay? When you're trying to find the perimeter of any figure, you add up all the sides. Perimeter, like the perimeter of something, is the outside of it. Just add up. Just adding. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Okay? And because it's a triangle, you only have 3 sides you add up. That is it. If you have an additional side, I don't know what you're doing. You only do 3 sides. Okay. All right, on to the next one. All right. Explain to me why we can't just say that the cosine of 64 degrees is 5 over 14.
This is not a right triangle.
Bing, 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 bing. It is not a right triangle, okay? Because it's not a right triangle, I cannot use sine and cosine, and tangent, okay? As of right now, we haven't learned anything else except the fact that we cannot use sine, cosine, and tangent if it's not a right triangle, okay? Now, come tomorrow, it'll be a little different. But today, still. So I'm going to be lazy, and I'm just going to do this. Okay? All right, now, what do I do to make this into right triangles? Thank you. I draw my side that is perpendicular to the base. And now I have my height. Yesterday, what did we talk? We talked about using what to find our height. What was the rule? Huh? We use A and B. If we're using this side of the triangle, it's this angle and this hypotenuse of this right triangle. Okay? So it would be if you have not caught on to the pattern, we're going to go through the steps. Okay? If I have 64, what's the relationship between 64 degrees and the height? Opposite, right? And I have my hypotenuse. So opposite and hypotenuse are what? Sine. So I have sine of 64 equals height over, how would I get h by itself? Multiply. So my height is simply 5 times the sine of 64. That is it. Nothing more, nothing less. That is the exact height. That is it. Nope. Stop. Stop. Just stop. Just stop. Right here.
What if we went along and did the whole thing?
Huh?
Like if we put the whole thing, like what if we did it?
If I asked you for the exact value and you gave me a decimal value, you would be wrong. If I say exact value,
That's what you mean?
that's it.
So we don't do like the square root thingy from the last one?
You can't. Is there a square root thingy here?
No, it's like you know on the last one you said the exact value is the 8.
Yes, because it had a radical. I can't simplify this any more than it is simplified. 5 times sine of 64, that is the exact height. Yes.
So this one's only asking for the measure of the triangle, so that doesn't mean we have to use the exact value.
It says measure triangle's height. That's it. That's all I want us to do. That is the measure of the triangle's height.
But in this kind of question, the other one would have been acceptable too.
I mean, in essence, yes, but you just, it's the only reason why you need this is to get to this point, to tell me the area.
Well, on the test, we have to write it like that.
On the test, I just want to know the area. And if your area is not in the right decimal, that's why I'm telling y'all, do not round into the very end. If I do not want to round to the very end, why not keep my exact value the entire way through?
So we don't finish.
Huh? You're finished. That's it. No mas. Stop. 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 Because this is, your ultimate goal is to compute the area. I just need the height to find the area. That's all I need. Because I need area equals base times height divided by 2.
Okay, you just write that in simple form where you like,
There's no other simple form. This is it.
no, it's about like the question, like when you ask the
Yeah,
question.
when you ask the question, you make it specific to
Yeah.
what.
When I ask the question, I'm not going to ask for the height. I'm going to ask for the area of this triangle. You're going to have to know to do this.
So it doesn't matter how we get the height?
No, but what's going to happen is if your rounding's different than mine, because I use the exact values, you're going to lose the points.
So, okay.
Guys, how hard is this to just say, please don't put this in the calculator. No calc. Don't touch it.
Just say that.
I mean, I've said it 5 times. Base times height divided by 2. 14 times, what's my height? Sine of 64 divided by 2.
You just plug in what you get for it.
Yes, you just need the height. You need that information in order to find the area. I did.
You just saying it in a different way.
Guys, I said do not stop. I said stop. No more. No mas. Don't do anything else. Just leave it. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Para?
Because like we usually do it in the calculator now.
That was to get you used to actually understanding the process. But this is a piece of the puzzle. It's not the big picture. The big picture would be to find the area. So I'm now, because it's going to give me my exact value, I go to the calculator and I'm going to put in 14, I forgot the 5, times 5, sine of 64, divided by 2. That's it. There's nothing else for you to do. On the problem right now, we're going through the steps for you to remember to find the height. That is it. Yes.
So when it says find the area, we don't put the sin and all that stuff that's like.
Yes. You just did.
No, I'm talking about before like, we had Dwayne where we.
When you find the height,
And then, yeah.
because the formula, we wrote down the final formula yesterday. What was yesterday? The 5th? On the front of our page, we wrote down to find the area of any triangle. Here's the formula. That means you just plug in the values. But if you guys want to keep doing the same steps over and over, then ignore the formula if that helps you. But the whole purpose of learning a formula is to learn just to plug in. That is it. But if that makes it more complicated for whatever reason, do the problems over and over. So, I don't know what I did. Just go away. So my answer, because I saved my rounding to the very end. So my answer is 31 and 46/100. That 7 is going to cause my 5 to round up. It even tells you in there. It says in square units. All right, let's try this. Notice I have this triangle. Okay, if I'm going to just follow the formula, let's just label A, B, C. Lowercase a, lowercase b, and c. Okay, looking at the formulas from yesterday that we came up with, which formula applies to the information I have? 7, 9, or 10?
I think it aims for CA sign.
So which angle do I have? Looking at my triangle, which angle do I have? I have angle A, right? Because I have angle A, that means I'm going to use the formula that uses angle A. See how it says sine of A? We're going to use the formula that has angle A. And all I do is have to plug in the variables. I don't have to do the same routine over and over because that formula was created for that purpose. The question is, where did it go? Okay, so plug in what I know. So area equals, what's my C?
24.
What's my B?
19.
What's A? Or I can go through the same thing over and over. Oh, look, I drew in the height. Oh, what's the relationship to that angle and the height? Oh, it's the opposite. Oh, I have my hypotenuse. Oh, opposite and hypotenuse is sine. Oh, I need to get my height all by itself. Oh, my variable's in the numerator. I must multiply. Yes, let me multiply. Ooh, now I've multiplied. Ooh, now let me. The whole purpose of a formula is to eliminate that process. Okay? I know it was very sarcastic, but being very honest, that's the whole purpose of a formula. And now I just do what? Plug it in. And I round to the nearest 100. And I'm going to get what?
I think this is
40 what?
149.58.
And 5/8? Yes. Please practice the last two. Label your triangles.
This is basically the same way as the other one, right? A, B, the top is C, the bottom is lowercase c, 105 is lowercase e.
That's it.
Wait. So, we find it,
Which angle is given to me?
A, B, and,
She said which angle?
Which angle is given to me? Angle A. So which formula am I going to use?
is it the CB sign?
There you go. That's why we learn the formula. So you guys would have to do it over and over and over and over. Huh? What'd she say?